As of Monday, February 12th, 2024, the latest Horus Heresy art book, Art of the Horus Heresy, has closed pre-orders. It's a book of full HD prints of Horus Heresy book covers. It was limited to 6,500 copies, and pre-orders sold out within an hour. And oh hey, look at that! Scalpers have already put up listings for it on eBay in the hundreds of dollars. This is a problem. We need to talk about this. Uncle Adam from Tabletop Minions made a video 2 weeks ago called Is Games Workshop at the Tipping Point?, where he asked a simple question.
Games Workshop makes the best models in the world. But who cares if the prices are too high and they're sold out all the time?
GW has manufactured a situation where very few of their players can afford their products, and the ones that can't buy them because they're always out of stock. Is Games Workshop at the tipping point? I think yes. And I think this art book is just another brick in the wall, the next nail in GW's coffin. So, what even is the situation? Why am I catastrophizing so hard? Well, because when The End and the Death Volume 3 had its pre-order weekend, it was a disaster. It too had a similar limited copy amount, and within moments, scalpers who had set up automatic purchasing bots gobbled up the entire supply. Genuine customers who sincerely wanted the book to read it and enjoy it and own it and not just flip it on eBay as soon as it arrived were stuck in queues for hours, made to do CAPTCHAs that weren't capable of stopping bots, and when they finally did get in, oops, GW was all out of copies. But hey, those scalpers were already making eBay listings in the hundreds of dollars, so you could still get it that way, I guess, at like a 400% markup. People were furious. GW had to resort to canceling people's duplicate orders, which still did nothing to stem the flow of bots and scalpers, who just bought the extra supply freed up from GW canceling those orders. Real humans who just want to buy a fucking book can't compete with automatic scalping bots that are constantly hitting refresh on the page every second of every day. And then, when the weekend was over, pre-orders closed. So barely anybody who actually intended on reading the book was actually able to buy a copy. We assumed, perhaps foolishly, that GW would learn a lesson from this. The next time they did a Horus Heresy book release, they'd make it made to order, to make sure that everybody who wants a copy can get a copy. You know, eventually. I'm still waiting for my made-to-order copy of the Rogue Trader rulebook. But no. Not only are they still doing limited release runs, they're literally promoting it on the basis of it being a limited print run, as if to advertise primarily to scalpers. Clearly, GW didn't learn the right lesson from the EATD debacle, or if they did, they didn't care, because scalpers are an amazing source of short-term revenue. Short-term revenue looks good on quarterly earnings reports, and good quarterly earnings reports means the stock price goes up, and GW is a publicly traded company, so their primary aim is not to deliver a good product, but to make money for their shareholders by increasing the price of the stock. However, there's one difference between the reaction from the fandom this time around. A reaction I think GW should be concerned about. People aren't mad. They're just tired. I'd love this, but I'm not heading back to the pre-order trenches for it. Limiting it to 6,500 copies? I won't waste my time. Doing another limited run after the EATD3 mess is a real miss on GW's part. Please ensure scalpers can't scoop up the copies. Limited edition? No thanks. That basically just means we're exclusively selling to scalper bots. Please, just make Black Library books made to order. I'm literally begging you at this point. This is limited? No, I guess I won't bother then. And I usually get the Heresy supplements. To me, none of these responses ring as upset, angry, or passionate. They're worse than that. They're exasperated. They're tired. As soon as they heard it's a limited run, they simply gave up on owning a copy, period. These aren't the kinds of people who will end up begrudgingly buying a secondhand copy for a ridiculous markup. These are people who are burnt out by near annual price increases paired with shrinkflation, with everything on the web store being constantly out of stock. They're already noping out en masse for a Warhammer art book. How much longer will it take before people start feeling similar burnout for whatever the new value-added box set is? To make a profit, scalpers rely on putting pressure on artificial scarcity. They buy out every store's copies of whatever the new hotness is, and then sit on it while they try to sell it back to you at a much higher price than what you would have paid if they hadn't bought the product. That's why people hate scalpers, because they're essentially running an extortion racket, kind of like landlords. It's clear to me that GW doesn't care about this because they see scalpers as a valuable source of quarterly revenue spikes. But the issue is that you can't cater to scalpers. By definition, they have no actual interest in the product itself, only its perceived value to others. If those items lose their perceived value because it's assumed that they'll just be unattainable anyway, then scalpers lose their market. I'll say it again. Scalpers do not make money if fans don't want the product. They have no personal investment in the hobby other than what they seek to gain by flipping second-hand products. So they'll be the first to leave if it seems like revenue's drying up. They're just going to go back to reselling sealed trading cards or sneakers. GW has an amazing opportunity. They are at the top of the card when it comes to tabletop wargaming, and frankly, all of tabletop gaming, period. 40K is certainly making more money than D&D is these days, but that's a topic for another video. However, GW is consistently wasting the opportunity they have. Their goal, as they have directly stated themselves, is to focus inward on further monetizing existing players instead of getting new people into the game. Instead of using their huge market share to undercut the cost of the competition while still providing the best possible products, they're price gouging what they see as a captive audience while consistently giving them less for each dollar spent. Price inflation and product shrinkflation simultaneously. I think the reaction to this debacle with the art book shows a worrying trend. People are finally getting tired of being wrung for every penny they're worth while also being given less in return. And they aren't getting angry, they're getting bored. Angry people stay invested in the thing that makes them angry. That's why there's such a high rate of boycott recidivism. But bored people just leave. And those people are incredibly hard to get back. But what are your thoughts? Am I overthinking this, or am I and Uncle Adam correct in thinking that GW is playing with fire with its increased reliance on things like FOMO and other hard sell tactics? Let me know in the comments below. And if you want to support the channel, may I recommend subscribing and ringing the notification bell, as well as liking the video if you liked it. Alright, with all that out of the way, I need to get back to work on some real videos. Storm Lord.